Often regarded as Jamaica's most untarnished region, the Cockpit Country is a geologically unique landscape located in the heart of the island. A rugged and heavily forested terrain, rich in plants, animals, water, and history. The Cockpit Country spans over 500 miles and is home to about 70,000 people, including the Leeward Maroons of Jamaica. The area's defining characteristic is the series of sculpted limestone hills and valleys which spread throughout the 6 parishes found within its boundaries. As Jamaica's largest remaining natural forest, the Cockpit Country has been designated a protected space, due in part to the biodiversity of its ecology, within which many endemic wildlife species continue to thrive. While there are many environmental organizations that advocate for the protection of the Cockpit Country, the Southern Trelawny Environmental Agency has chosen to combine their efforts with showcasing the opportunities for ecotourism that the area presents.
Our mandate is to promote protection of Cockpit Country through conservation and economic alternative livelihood projects. We have done a number of projects, grant-funded projects, soil conservation, community awareness, welfare, livelihood, alternate livelihoods, community enterprises, and we also now have a subsidiary called Cockpit Country Adventure Tours. So we offer hiking, caving, bird watching as 3 tour packages to our guests that come, and we do that in Cockpit Country communities of Spring Garden, here in the Alps, and we have encouraged it in other communities. And the idea is to offer an alternative economic undertaking that provides the community with a way to extend their income base in a sustainable way, using the beauty and the diversity as the attraction. When you look at the history, the ecology, the biodiversity, the endemism, the landscape, and the unique evolution of the geology, you have an array of attractions here that support ecotourism. And currently, the caves constitute one of the big attractions because you can go in, you can appreciate the history, but you can see the ecology as it evolves. Stalagmites, stalactites, the formation, the whole architecture in there, and you can get a lovely tour of the caves, which is also adventure and fun because you have so many things that you can do inside there. And there are water bodies in there, so you can swim in some of the caves. So the caves offer a holistic attraction with some amount of history. Across the spinal strip of Jamaica, where most of our caves are, there are maybe logged about 500 caves in Jamaica. Well, in the landscape of Cockpit Country, there are some 300 of those, just because of the weathering on this white limestone plot. So you have an amazing array of caves. They also are of significance historically because the Maroons used them to hide away from the British. So they had good night's sleep and they had water because the aquifers flow alongside them inside of those caves into the sinks and emerge elsewhere. Then there are the bats that occupy. There are some 21 species of bats that occupy our caves, and some of them are endemic to Jamaica. They have a significance in the role they play in pollinating plants, keeping down mosquitoes, and having the ability to transfer seeds that grow in the deep wild of Cockpit Country.
As part of the explorative experience curated by Cockpit Country Adventure Tours, sightseers can traverse what is likely to have been the same subterranean paths walked by our African ancestors in times of rebellion, or used as a place of refuge during an escape from their colonial captors.
This cave in particular is found within the community of Rock Spring. There are some folklores behind this little cave. It was once said that a man, just 5-minute walk away, by the name of John Foden, used to come along this cave and do some little rituals, which we all know as obi or spiritual works. We all know, but back then it is said that John Foden used to come in and do his little biddings and summon a crocodile. That crocodile is no longer within this cave, because the myth had said that John Foden has come and he was underneath a little bit of spirit, a little bit of rum, and he had too much to drink, so he summoned the wrong crocodile. That crocodile come up and that crocodile eat him all up. So you won't find this crocodile anymore in this cave. Where the walls on both sides are pure limestone. The clay that you're actually walking on is pure clay. Watch your step. So the rocks that are growing from the ceiling are called stalactites. The ones that are growing from the ground up, stalagmite. When a stalactite and a stalagmite meet, it forms a pillar or a column. And if you look to the center of my light, you will see one forming. All stalactite is formed. If you look on every tip of a stalactite, you will see that it has a little drip of water settling. So what really happens is that the carbonic acid eats through the calcium carbonate of the limestone rock, creating vertical and horizontal fittles, washing down all the minerals. Leave it at the tip, settles, then drip. Wash down some more minerals, settle at the tip, harden, then it drips. The dripping, however, is what forms stalagmites below. So the remainder of minerals that is left within the water is what forms the stalagmite below. And if you could look at the stalagmite, centermalite again, you can notice that the stalagmite is more rugged or a bit fatter than the stalactite. So the stalactite, because them hanging from the ceiling, them come down smooth. You know when water drop, it splashes. So that's why the stalagmites are more wide and more rugged. Alright? And perfect example of when they meet, a column or a pillar. Life exists within the cave, within pretty much every cave, but it's way different from what we would experience on the outside. We all know bats are blind. And within this cave, we have natural running water. Within that running water, you will find crabs, crayfish. And they are, I wouldn't say blind, but they are temporary blind. If you would catch a crayfish or catch a crab, you'll notice that their eyes are red. If you bring them on the outside, put them in the river, then their eyes are gonna go back to normal and they can live on forever. But within the cave, they have to use their antennas. The water, even though it might look pretty much clear for me and you, for them, it's dark as midnight or darker than midnight. If we had lights out within this cave, it would be pitch dark. Your eyes cannot adjust to this kind of darkness. So that's why their eyes are red and they pretty much use their antennas to find their way around the cave. So we have plants growing within the cave, bats living within the cave, and the bats are fruit-eating bats. So the bats won't fly down and attack you. They'll come as close to your face as possible, but you don't have to scream or try to run away. They won't bump into you. And bats use what we call echolocation to find them way around the cave. Just a bit more around here, you will find that plants are growing. And actually there is no sunlight within this cave. But how is that possible? What is really going on here is a simple adaptation process where bats goes out at night, feed on several little fruits, come in, eat the fruit, drop the seed. The seed, the fruit, the soil actually is very, very fertile. It has one of the natural fertilizer known to man as guano or bat dropping or bat poo. So the seed falls to the ground. The seed is definitely going to germinate, and if you look to the seed, you will see that it is still attached to the seed. So it gets a little bit of nutrients from all of the nutrients that it can get from the seed and everything else that it can get from the soil. But this plant will grow up to 10-14 inches without some little leaf, and eventually it actually die. In the Cockpit Country, rose apple is kind of dying out. And for me, if they want to replace all those rose apples that we used to have here, this is the best place that they can come and find a lot of those rose apples germinating. Because even though we don't have a bunch of those trees anymore, normally along the riverbed you'll find a bunch of rose apples. You won't find that anymore. But somehow the bats, they still find rose apples. So from time to time you will come in and you will find rose apple lying on the ground. The locals from the community, they will come in and they will take the seed, plant it in their house back or in their garden. They can't plant it in any sun, because if you notice the leaves of the plants in here, they are white or pale in color, so no chlorophyll is within those plants. So photosynthesis cannot take place right away. So when them come in, take those plants, bring them back to the outside, plant them in their garden, allow it to have a little bit of sun and more shade, automatically the leaves are going to turn green and photosynthesis is going to take place, and those plants are going to grow up to be big fruitful trees. Alright? Watch your step as you come along. A couple thousand years ago, all of this area, Cockpit Country, was flat. Because this area is embedded with what we call the white limestone rock, and the white limestone rock is easily eroded by carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is naturally found within rainwater. So a couple thousand of years when this area was flat, the rainfall creates some little sinkholes, creates some little ponds, and then start creating some caves. So back out on the outside, when you stand and look, you will see some small mountains or tiny mountains, which we call them hillocks. And each of those mountains or hillocks, they are unique in the biodiversity of plants and animals and whatever you will find on them. Because some of those little mountains, yes, they will have the same plants, but some of them will have plants that, say, not friendly to the sun, and you will find some that are more friendly to the wetland. Printed Circle Cave, it has 3 levels. The upper level, the lower level, and the lowest level is pretty much where the water runs. So right now we're upstairs, and we're going to move from upstairs to downstairs. So back in the days, the Maroons, they used cave as means of hiding away and to get from one location to the next. Based on the location of this cave, it is highly possible that the Maroons, they used to use this cave as a means of hiding away, or to hide their little children, or to come in and plan their war strategies. And due to the fact that this cave, it has natural running water and there's life within this running water, they can probably stay a month, pretty much the maximum a month that they could stay within this cave. And this cave has 10 entrance and exit points to them, so if a British warrior soldier had run off to a few Maroons and they come in through the same exit or the entrance that we come in, they could probably come back out and circle around and ambush those British warriors right then and there.
History is indeed embedded within these limestone walls that continue to weather over time, carving out new avenues for the sustainability of the many lives that depend on the Cockpit Country's natural resources, chief among them being water.
You have an amazing watershed and underground ecology that is driven by the fact that through this white limestone have been aquifers which lead the water underground, and it emerges within the same landscape and outside of the landscape as springs, as rivers, and it provides the water supply for all of Western Jamaica through 5 major rivers: the Black River, the Great River, the Wyeth, the Martha Brae, and the River in St. Anne. So you have a major watershed system here driven by this landscape called Cockpit Country. And by extension, there is a history associated with it. There's a lifestyle associated with it, and there are traditions associated with it. Its beauty is associated with how these features come alive. In here you will find spring heads where the water comes back out from underground, and the way it comes back out over the rock and goes into tributaries that again go back into the underground or form short rivers, make for the beauty of the place.
The rivers born of this immense region serve several purposes for those who live within it. But for those who simply wish to behold their beauty, rafting along one of the Cockpit Country's many rivers presents an awe-inspiring opportunity to explore Jamaica.